Yo, so the first thing I want to ask is that you please just ignore my hair. I've just been recording another YouTube video where I was doing cold outreach in a cold shower while shaving my head all at the same time, and I found out the little fucking shaver thing isn't waterproof the hard way. So yeah, please just ignore that. But in this video, I'm going to give you the perfect fucking analogy about how self-improvement YouTube works. And it's not going to be a nice realization you have, it's going to be pretty fucking harsh. And you'll probably realize that you've been wasting your youth trying to make this work, and you're probably going to continue wasting your youth. You're going to see self-improvement YouTube so much fucking differently, bro. You're gonna realize that Hamza, basically the model he teaches, you're gonna see why basically nobody, and this isn't nothing against Hamza, Hamza fucking changed my life, bro, but you're gonna see how basically the model he teaches just doesn't get people results, okay? And if you have been uploading on your self-improvement channel for a while, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can realistically, and this isn't a fucking exaggeration or anything, how you can realistically make your first $2,000 in the next 7 days, even if you're not big on YouTube. So let's just agree on some things first, shall we? YouTube is a really fucking long game, okay? You need time and you need consistency. Very important. You need time consistently, uploading consistently for like a year, 2 years before you get results. You probably agree with that, don't you? Secondly, someone who isn't dependent on YouTube will get better results than someone who is. Basically meaning, if you're not needy and you're not fucking, reliant on having to make money from your channel, and you're not fucking, fucking begging to blow up and fucking, if you're, the fucking law of attraction type shit, if you aren't needy for the money, okay, people will tell that energy in your videos and you'll get better results. I've actually got some fucking little sticky things here to make the video more interesting, okay? Thirdly, someone with credibility and proof will get better results than someone who doesn't. And finally, someone with money to invest, aka, buying editors and thumbnail designers and all this shit, will naturally get better results than someone who can't invest into their channel. So this is just meant to represent an editor and a thumbnail designer. And so basically what we're saying, okay, is if you have time, all right, let's fucking rip this off. You've got time and you've also got money, okay, then these things together, you will get way, way better results if you have both of them. And guess what? For this video, it's fucking perfect, man, because I am the perfect example of someone with both time and money. What's going on, bro? My name's Sam Walford. I'm a 17-year-old dropout entrepreneur from Coventry in the UK. And like I said, I've dropped out and I've printed out images from my school about page here to make it more interesting. So you can see here, I'm traveling. You can see here, meeting up with people, traveling, meeting up with people, doing cool stuff. And so it's like I've got freedom, I've got time, I've dropped out with my business and everything. My average client makes their first $3,700 in the first 60 days. You can just see some proof here. Just some of my testimonials here. And so because I am not dependent on making money from the channel, I'm of course not needy, okay? And so if you have money, then you can, hire an editor and thumbnail designer and shit. And at the same time, you're also not needy because it's like you don't imminently need money from the channel. And so I'm not needy, to fucking, get you down my funnel or shit like that, because like I don't even get that many people from YouTube anyway. I just make these videos because I fucking love doing YouTube, bro. And at the same time, not being needy, I've got time, aka I've got like time to put into the channel. And I've also got like long-term time, like I don't need to imminently make money in the next 3 months. And so I'm basically, I can invest in the channel, I'm not needy. I'm like the perfect example of someone who's gonna do, good with YouTube. And the thing is, I'm now starting to upload consistently and put way more effort into the YouTube. It's like the long-term play for like in a year's time, hopefully building up a big audience. That's like what I'm basically planning on doing with my YouTube now. And so this here is me, okay? But the thing is, you're watching my video, I'm not watching your video, which probably means you're not much like me, okay? And this isn't me trying to be fucking flexing on you or anything. But you probably don't have much money, which is probably why you are watching this video. And so because you don't have like much money, and it's like you're aiming on making money with the channel, it's like you're naturally, even if you don't see it, okay, you're naturally gonna be a little bit more needy. I think we agreed on that. If you don't have money, you're gonna be, more needy. And at the same time, you don't really have much time. As in, like, yes, you could spend the next year doing YouTube, and you could spend the next year uploading consistently, following my plan, how I'm doing it. You could like copy what I'm doing in a way and spend the next year doing it. But by you doing that, you're kind of just like wasting another year or 2 years of your youth. Your young years that you're in right now, bro, the fucking like prime of your life, you're gonna be wasting another year or two like that, stuck in the school system or stuck in your fucking job or shit like that, trying to make YouTube work. And so, in a way, you don't have money or time, and so all of that basically means, you are needy. And you might be like, oh no, I'm fucking Sigma Alpha Male, point of abundance. it's your fucking, deeper energy, It's like, I'm gonna CTH you once in this video, all right? And that's gonna be the very fucking end, all right? Because my long-term play is basically just to give a fuck ton of value, in these videos, build up that core audience who then really fucking loves me because I've helped them so much. It's not about, getting quick people in just to quickly make money now. Like, my aim, where I'm prioritizing to basically succeed is like in a year's time. So that's the thing. Yes, you can probably do that too, but at the same time, it's like you're naturally going to be more needy because like, if you don't like your life right now that much and you want to achieve a different life, then you're naturally going to be more. Can we just agree on that, please? And at the same time, because you don't have much money, you can't invest into your channel, which basically means you can't get an editor, you can't get a thumbnail designer, you can't buy all the fucking fancy shit, and so your videos are naturally just going to be worse, or you're going to have to edit them yourself and then put more time into the editing, which that time could be put elsewhere. And at the same time, this is the other thing, you only have your inherent credibility, okay? And what I mean by inherent credibility is that if you're helping guys with social skills and you have photos of you with people, that's inherent credibility. It's like credibility that's like personal. Or if you're a fitness coach and you've got a good physique, that's inherent credibility. What I'm saying is you only have inherent credibility. You don't have like proof credibility, as in, you don't have shit like this. Okay, you don't have testimonials and all this shit like this like I do. You only have like the inherent credibility sort of like, I guess this is kind of inherent credibility traveling. So for me, my inherent credibility would be that like I made $12,000 last month and I'm on track to make $20,000 this month. Whereas my proof credibility would be the testimonials you just saw there. Do you understand that? So you only have your inherent credibility. You don't have any proof. And so of course you're at a significant disadvantage to me because I've got time and money. I can play the long game. I'm not needy. I've got the credibility and the proof. I can invest. Whereas it's like you don't really have that. And this isn't me being like, oh, fucking Andrew Tate, I'm so much better than you. You need to lock in. Okay, I'm trying to help you here. We just are basically evaluating the situation so that we can solve the problem. We're both on the sort of level playing field. We both understand the facts about the situation that you're in. Because guess what the really fucking interesting thing is, Rotato? You say, this is what your subconscious is. I know from my fucking niche, but I've been on like fucking 500 calls with guys like you. I know you, okay? I know you. I know how your brain is working. You're saying, you're like, okay, Sam, you're right. I don't have, I'm a little bit needy. You probably still disagree with that subconsciously. Yes, maybe I'm a little bit needy. Yes, I can't invest that much into my channel. I can't really hire an editor, or I can hire an editor, but it feels like I'm just like hemorrhaging money and whatnot. It feels like I'm not getting the return on if I was to hire an editor. And at the same time, it's like, yes, Sam, you're right, I have no proof. But, and this is going to be a key theme of this video, so pay attention to this word I'm about to say, because this will really relate with you when I say this. Yes, Sam, but eventually, that's the important word, eventually, I will get it. Okay, and this is what my whole fucking point of this video is based off, that word eventually. Eventually. That is what you say in your song. Maybe you don't say that specific word, maybe you say it in your own language or whatever the fuck, but that's the general idea of when you think about, achieving this and having the money and investing into the editor, you're like, eventually I will get there in like a year's time. Eventually. You will eventually make money and not be needy. You will eventually make money and hire the editor and thumbnail designer and maybe a YouTube coach. You will eventually blow up. You know how YouTube fucking is in a longest fucking graph of them, whoop, like that? Okay. You will eventually blow up, and then eventually you will get the proof, like Hamza, for example. He's got fucking tons of proof of changing guys' lives and self-improvement. You'll eventually get to that point, but you can only get that once you're blown up, right? You can only, get the editor and whatnot and invest in your channel and whatnot once you've eventually, or not even fully blown up, but once you've got some more traction. Once you have the traction, then you get the editor and then you get more traction. That's like your sort of plan, isn't it? It's like, no progress for fucking ages and then just go straight up. Kind of like, expect exponential because you blow up, and then as you start to blow up, you can hire the editor, you're less needy, you've got more proof, and then that helps to blow up. It's like, whoop, like that. Now, the thing is, with doing YouTube at the start, YouTube doesn't give you much money at the start. Not really at all. You know this. YouTube doesn't give you money at the start. Maybe you sell a low ticket course, you get a couple sales for a couple $100. Maybe you make $1,000, $2,000 over the course of like 6 months. Okay, a little bit of money, not really gonna change your life. Making $1,000 over 6 months, that's like $200. It's not even $200 a month. And at the same time, it doesn't really give you much experience. And it's not just about the proof, it's also about the experience. And what I mean by that is like your ability to understand your niche. How I just said like eventually, like, you know, how all of this is so like fucking like relating into you, whereas like you feel it's so super relevant to you. That's probably why you're still watching the video, because you're like, oh shit, this guy, like, you know, this guy, this Sam, and maybe you've seen me before, maybe you recognize me, I don't know, but you know, this guy Sam, he really understands me. You know, I'm gonna hear out what he has to say. You know, I understand my niche, you being my niche. And that's the thing with experience, it's understanding your niche, understanding, you know, how their brain fucking thinks, you know, understanding them and their desires and their wants and how their brain works and all their pains better than they do. YouTube really doesn't give you that experience, and you might be like, well, yes, it does, because I'm fucking talking about and thinking about my niche all the time. That is the key point, thinking about your niche, okay? I've got a fucking perfect analogy for this, and you will understand exactly what I mean. Imagine a fucking 4chan of like incels, okay? Just imagine a 4chan of incels. None of them have ever really spoken to girls, okay? They're all talking about how to get girls. Maybe not incels, but you get what I mean, like fucking like degenerate, depressed guys on a fucking 4chan somewhere. None of them have ever really spoke to girls. They don't know how women act, you know? And what happens is, because they don't have any experience, they just come up with the fucking craziest theories, and it's like they try and figure it out by thinking about it, but our brains are like computers, our brains are like fucking processors, and it's a whole garbage in, garbage out. If you have no information to base your thoughts upon, the thoughts that come out aren't gonna fucking be relevant to anything, okay? Do you understand that? And so, with you and your niche, like, yes, you've got a bit of experience, you've got your own personal experience, which is important. Maybe you've had some friends, maybe you've spoken to some people before. And so you've got a little bit of information, a little trickle of information. You've got a little bit, at least compared to me, when I said I've done like 500 free coaching calls with guys like you, okay? You know, you've got like a little bit, all right? Whereas I've got a lot more, all right? And so, for you, it's like you've got a little bit of information, and so your brain fucking computers it and everything, and then it comes out, and it's like, yes, it's somewhat relevant. It's really not super good though, compared to me, whereas like, I got so much fucking data on my niche, where I can literally, I've got, you know, 500 fucking call transcriptions, bro, put them all into ChatGPT, and get a summarization out of my niche, where it's so ridiculously fucking in-depth, it makes me fucking get goosebumps. Okay, that's what I have got, all right? That's how well I understand my niche. You do not have that, okay? And so yes, you've got a little bit of experience in your niche, as in experience of your niche. You probably not got much like proof. Okay, you got the inherent proof, but not the testimonial proof. And you don't have tons of experience, and obviously you've not got the money, all right? And this is what YouTube will give you at the start. YouTube doesn't give you any of this at the start. And so you're like, okay, YouTube's not giving me this at the start, and so I just need to push through this long ass fucking period of, you know, not really getting anything from YouTube. And you know, it's gonna, you know, it's because you're not getting anything back from YouTube, you're getting very little back. You gotta go through the longest period where you get nothing, and then like I said, you suddenly start to get some stuff, and then that causes the fucking, you know, spiral feedback loop and everything. You know, the fucking completes the flywheel. And then then you get a little bit more money, a little bit more proof, a little bit more experience, and then having a little bit more of this gives you more of this, and then you got more of this, and then it gives you more of this. It's like a fucking, you know, feedback loop. It's like the views will give you experience and money, and then that experience and money comes back round and give you views once again. And it's like a cycle, because you get some views and it gives you more experience and money, and then that experience and money, you can reinvest it and talk better to your niche, make better videos, and then it gives you more views. And it's like you complete the cycle, but at the start, it's like you don't have any of that and you don't have any of that. And so it's like there's not really, the cycle doesn't really work. But as you get more of it, you know, start to get more of it and everything, then it starts to move, It's like a train at the start. It's like, you know, you get what I mean? Right, the video's gonna get really good. Just give me 1 second. This is going to blow your fucking head off, bro. Just give me 1 second, hold with me. Okay, so this here is a little graph of time and money. I'm fucking cooking with this, bro. Okay, hear me out. So, this here is time. So, we're here. Okay, we start down here. I can put a little marker down for where we are right now. So, we're down here, okay? And you're at 0, so this is time, so this is like 1 year, this is 2 years, this is 3 years here, and this here is like 2K a month, 10K a month, 100K a month, million a month. And so right now, you're at like, I mean, we'll just pretend you're at the start of your journey. You might be like 2 or 3 years in already. You're probably more than that in terms of making money online, but let's just say you're here, you know, you're 0 time and 0 money. So you're starting down here in this little bottom corner. Can you see that? And this is basically your plan with YouTube. So you're gonna spend ages not really getting any results, but then you start to pick up a little traction, and then whoop, like that. And maybe you end up 100K, million a month, who knows where you end up. Okay, but that's like the graph of your progress. So it's like 1 year in, you're still at like $0 maybe, or maybe at like a couple $100, all right? 2 years in, maybe at a couple $1,000. 3 years in, here, you might be hitting your first 2K per month, and then, you know, maybe like, you know, 2 months, 3 months after 3 years in, you hit 10K per month and 100K per month, you know. That's how you're planning, you know, that's, you know, we can agree on that, right? That's how you're planning on blowing up on YouTube. And basically, like I said, it's like sort of, imagine the feedback cycle I showed you. It's like the feedback cycle ain't really working, no leverage, shit ain't working, no time or money, no experience. Okay, let's actually move this. And so like I said, with like the feedback cycle, it's like if you're here, you know, it's like, you know, you're moving here, and there's no time, there's no leverage, or the fucking feedback cycle. You remember it? It's not really working. No time, no money, no leverage, no experience. You're getting a little bit more, though, a little bit more. And 2 years in, you got a bit more, and you actually, you know, you're starting to get a little bit of traction here. A couple thousand subscribers, maybe, you know? More. Basically, how it works is the progress you have already made causes more progress. This is just the nature of exponentiality. I'm sure you can understand that just fine. And this is really interesting. This is why, you know, if you look at Hamza's proof and results, or maybe you're even in like ECC as like money-making program. Because obviously this is like the model Hamza teaches you. It's really fucking interesting because the data fully fucking backs this up, okay? And this is what I'm saying I'm cooking with. 99% of people, okay, so imagine this is like 99% of people, are making only a couple $100 a month, or not even that. Most people aren't making anything whatsoever. You got a few people who are making a couple $100 and, you know, maybe $1,000 for one or two. And then there's like, I think there might be like 2 or 3 guys in ECC who are doing like 10, 20K per month, you know? And that's just like, you know, you got like 500 people who aren't making anything, and then like 3 guys who are making like 10K per month. And it's kind of like, there's not really any in between. It's not like it's proportional. It's not like, you know, it's not like you got 50 guys making nothing, then 25 guys making 1K a month, and then 10 guys making 3K per month, and then 5 guys making 10K per month. It's not like that. It's just like nothing. You know, most people are making nothing, and then there's a couple people are making like 10K, 20K a month. Like it's on the feedback cycle. So basically, from that we can infer, the higher up on here you are, okay, the more progress you will make. Okay, this little 2K per month mark, if you get past this 2K per month mark here, then basically, this little 2K per month mark, everything becomes easier, all right? And so you can imagine at this 2K per month mark, you know, this is where shit takes off. And so let's say you were like at 2K per month here, you would of course just go like whoop like that, if that makes sense. But of course, you know, you got to go through this whole long period here where, you know, it's like you're wasting your youth and you know, you're young and you can probably see where I'm going with this, can't you? You know, you're young and you're healthy and you're fit, but you know, you can't train the best you can. You can't be social with other guys around you who you want to be around. You don't have your freedom. Like, you're the fucking young, hungry man, and you don't have your freedom. You're like fucking trapped in a job, or, you know, how fucking stupid is that? But, you know, you just have, you know, you have to, right? You've got to go through that period before you hit the 2K per month, and then you're like, I mean, you probably hear Big Hammy. He tells you, you know, you got to hit 2K a month, and that's all you need to move and meet him in Bali and go have a fight and everything, getting steroids. Because, you know, once you get to 2K per month, it's like you know, everything just becomes so much easier because you can reinvest, you get more experience, you know, you can move out, you can quit your job. Everything just becomes easier once you hit 2K per month. Because the thing is, when you hit 2K per month, okay, you get your time freedom at 2K per month. At 2K per month, okay, you also get money, all right? And with time and money comes traveling freedom, all right? You can travel. Yes, that is my real passport there. Shit, is that gonna open? I don't wanna fucking leak myself. You think a good bit of mouth tape can't solve? There we go. The trusty micro pore tape. I bet you don't even, bro, I bet you don't even fucking tape your mouth when you go to sleep anymore, you little pussy. But anyway, when you travel, you can also travel with other young men. You can meet up with the boys, okay? You can work full time, all right, on freedom. You can eat the best fucking diet of steak and eggs that you want to eat, all right? And with the money, you can obviously hire your little editor there. And where's the thumbnail gun? You can get the thumbnail designer. And guess what? By doing all of this, okay, this is the really, really interesting thing. By doing all of this, you're much more likely to be able to think about it, because this happens to me as well. If you got this freedom and you're like comfortable and you're happy and you're not in like survival mode anymore and fucking, you know, stuck in school or anything, and because you're probably pretty comfortable in your life right now, but you're probably not like super comfortable. It's like you'll be really loving it here. You know that if you were in that life, you'll probably like realize your deeper purpose. I mean, right now you probably think your purpose is to help young men with self-improvement, which like that sort of is your current purpose layer. But I know that I want to reform the education system in the UK long term. That's my like deeper purpose. I realized my deeper purpose once I dropped out. Okay. And so that'll probably happen with you too, and you'll realize like how you actually want to change the world. For example, one of my clients, you know, he wants to fucking like fix Bangladesh, you know, and like make a load of money and then be like a philanthropist in Bangladesh because he's from Bangladesh. But then yeah, and you can also meet your future wife as well when you're traveling like this. Like, you know, I guess you could meet your future wife girl where you are right now. Maybe you've already met her, which is fucking congratulations to you, bro. That's awesome. But you know, you're more likely, if you're able to travel, you're way more likely to be able to meet, you know, your future wife. If you were traveling and you were like this, you know, you don't want to be the little bitch when you meet her. And it's like, I live above this 2K per month level. Like, this is my life, man. It's fucking awesome. And by the way, it also gives, you know, a good bit of proof as well. I guess having money, but that's not really super adjacent. But you get what I mean. You get proof as well. Might as well put that on there. Might as well use this little sticker as well, because you got too many stickers now. And obviously down here, you know, you're stuck in school. You've got no proof, your brain's a bit fucked and you're broke. And so I live above the 2K per month level. Like I said, like, I'll show you this for the fucking 10th time now, bro, because I love being arrogant and flexing my life. I mean, this is literally taken from like 6 months ago, bro. Okay, I've done a lot more cool stuff since then, but it's like, I've dropped out, I've got my time freedom, I've gone traveling, I've met up with my online friends, I've made a self-improvement documentary with the BBC, the big British broadcasting company as well. Done loads of meetups and everything, met my online friends. Like, me and my clients now, like 6 or 7 of my clients, like, who are doing that really well, we're all planning on fucking moving in together somewhere in Europe this summer or in a couple of months' time. You know, that's just fucking sick, man. You know, and so I've got this fucking, like, freedom now, and it's because I'm above that 2K per month mark, it's sick. You know, I've discovered I want to fucking reform the UK education system, and I'm not going to go and rant about that, because I can rant about that all I fucking want, bro, all day. And I should make a video ranting about that, actually. But I have done this at 17 years old, bro. Where's my fucking pen gone? Okay. This should make you go like, oh shit, okay. I have done this, all right, at 17 years old. And you are statistically likely to be older than me, and you haven't done this yet. And yes, you know, people have different opportunities. You're probably not even thinking that. You're probably like, oh, okay, he's doing something good. Like, I respect him, you know. I respect Sam for doing that. That's cool, you know. And I appreciate you for respecting me for that. But then your mind, some part of your mind is probably also being like, oh, you know, he's probably just done something different. He's probably got, maybe not lucky, because you're probably above, like, thinking people who are successful are lucky. You know, you probably know that people's success is based upon their actions and their beliefs and not based on luck. But then part of your brain is probably still like, oh, he's just like done a different business model. Oh, he's probably just like, you know, in the past year where I've kind of been messing around, not being locked in, he's probably been locked in. That's probably what you're thinking. I can tell you that all isn't true, bro. Okay, the reason I work hard and I'm so locked in now is because I'm already successful. Again, it's a fucking positive feedback loop. Yes, hard work does create success, but success also creates hard work in a way, okay? And of course, you know, it's not my opportunities or anything like that. Like, yeah, I mean, I live in the UK, I was in school, you know, normal public school and everything, and like, you know, we're not super well off, but we're not fucking, you know, in poverty either, you know, I'm just like a normal kid, okay? I'm not having any crazy opportunities or shit like that, all right? And so, it's, you know, it's not my situation or my environment or my parents or that I got a handout or any shit like that, bro. I can tell you, all right? It is this one analogy that I'm going to explain to you, which completely fucking changed my life and took me from where you are now, okay, to where I am now. Okay, so I do just want to give you a little bit of a warning here, okay, bro? All right, you are not going to like what I'm about to tell you. And this is because you are familiar with what Hamza teaches. You know, you're familiar with that, you're comfortable with that, you like that, your brain is comfortable with that. You know, obviously, our subconscious brains and our brains and everything, we seek comfort, we like what we're familiar with, okay? And what I'm gonna tell you is new and scary, okay? And it's going to make you slightly panic in a way, and it's gonna cause those emotions of fear and doubt and anxiety, okay? I promise you, you will feel, and you probably, oh, Sam, just fucking tell me. Okay, I want to give this fucking crazy disclaimer, all right? Because, or else you're just gonna click off the video as soon as I tell you what this is, okay? Because you already know, like, of what this is. It's not some new fancy method you've never heard of. You've heard of this before, and when I tell you what it is, it's gonna be so fucking obvious. The other thing is that Hamza, as well, sort of fucking shits on this. He doesn't talk about it a ton, but when it is brought up, okay, he fucking shits on what I'm going to tell you now, okay, and I've got a logical argument to explain, you know, why this works better, all right? And because of what Hamza says about it, you're gonna think it's scammy, you're gonna think it's sleazy, you're gonna think it's not for you, you know, you're gonna think it's too much hard work, and it might work better, but it's probably not gonna work long term. You know, you're gonna tell me that you know you don't want to do it because you enjoy YouTube more, and you know you enjoy the YouTube work. Your brain is going to tell you all of these things. And the reason I know that your brain is going to tell you all these things, like I said, is because you're my niche and I know how your brain is going to work, okay? I just want you to promise me now, okay, that you aren't going to click off this video when I tell you what it is. For your own success, let's fucking, you know, like, fucking cheers on your future success, bro, okay? Let's fucking do it, okay? For your future success, like I said, I'm here because I fucking want to help you. You are my younger self, bro. There's a reason I haven't CTA'd into this video 2 minutes in, because like I said, I'm just fucking, I'm trying to help you because, I mean, if you look at my own selfish motivations, I know if I can change your life with this, which I know I can, very, very easily, because I've done it so many times before, that you're more likely to buy from me if I can already help you for free and fucking change your life and help you with this. So I am all for you. My best intentions are with you, and I'm genuine fucking saying that, bro. Okay, I've got my clients printed out, like their fucking profile photos, printed out on my wall because I fucking love them so much. You know, the clients are moving in with and everything. Because you are my niche. I fucking love you, bro. I want to reform the education system for you and for other kids like you. I have your best intentions in mind. Okay, I'm looking you in the eye saying that I have your best intentions in mind here, bro. What I'm going to tell you, you aren't going to like, but it is tough love. It's like I said, it's going to make you feel fear, anxiety, doubt. It's going to be uncomfortable. Promise me, okay, put this video on full screen. You are not going to click off this video, all right, for maybe the next 5-10 minutes, all right? Just promise me that. Take your hands away from the keyboard or whatever, anything. If you're watching on your phone, just put your phone down, okay? And if you really fucking want to, just like fucking sit on your hands, okay? And just like be present, okay? Deep breath and just be present here, just for this little part of the video. I don't ask much of you, okay, bro? All right? Just please, please be present for your own future success. If you're the type of guy who doesn't get all ignorant and just doesn't, you know, defaultly ignore other pieces of advice, and you're the type of guy who actually, you know, opens up his mind and genuinely considers other people's viewpoints and then, you know, makes a decision based upon his own logic, because what I'm going to tell you, you can disagree with that if you want to. All I want from you is that you hear me out, okay? And the thing with this is, okay, you need to hear it till the very, very, very end, okay? Because the last part of this analogy makes it all fucking click. Because I'll explain the first, you know, I've got to explain it in like a chronological order. When I explain the first part, your preconceptions of what I'm going to tell you are going to come into your mind and you're going to be like, oh, okay, Sam's just fucking, you know, jerking this thing off, what it's going to be. Okay, and, you know, Sam's just fucking talking about that, and that doesn't work for me because of this long-term reason how I want to, you know, blow up on YouTube long-term. I want to play the long-term game. I promise you, okay, the last part of the analogy explains how we make this long-term and how you will enjoy this long term and how this won't be much work long term and how actually you're going to end up basically doing this. Like the same outcome is going to come, but the same outcome of blowing up YouTube is just going to come sooner. Okay, and hear me out, okay? Because you're not going to like the short term what you need to do, but it's going to make the long term goal come so much faster. Okay, it's going to make this fucking blow up come genuinely, like it could come within the next, like, you know, maybe 4 or 5 months realistically. And it's also going to get you to that 2K per month, what I said, within like the next 7 days to 14 days. Okay. And you're not going to like it, but please, please, I've said it so many times, please hear me out. And the other thing is, my average client, like I said earlier, makes their first $3,700. My average client being exactly like you are my fucking niche, bro, okay? Makes their first $3,700 starting from $0 in the first 60 days following this, all right? So please hear me out. Okay, I think we've got that sorted. Playing the long game with YouTube, okay, is like starting a car in gear 5. It's really fucking hard to start a car in gear 5. And you're really, you know, you're moving through time, but you're not moving through, you know, the money. And so you're sitting here wasting time, you know, not really making much progress for a while. You're figuring out how to make it work. You're putting the attempts and you're putting the reps in to try and make the car start in gear 5. And it's low leverage, okay, like low torque, like imagine torque in a car, you know, the fucking like leverage of the engine. I don't know how fucking cars work, but it's torque, if you know what cars are. And so it's low leverage, and it's not really moving, but, you know, you start to get a little bit of momentum. And because you've got a little bit of momentum, it starts to get easier for the car in gear 5, even though you're moving pretty slowly. And then you start to pick up more momentum. And then because you're already in gear 5, you know, once you're, you know, going like 60 miles an hour or 80 miles an hour or whatever the fuck it is, you know, you don't need to change anything. You're already in gear 5. And so once you've got the momentum, you can just go up because you're already in gear 5. You don't need to fucking slow down to shift gears or anything. You're already in gear 5. And so you get that blow up. Hopefully you can understand that this red graph is like gear 5 in a car. And this is interesting because you can go to 200K per month with it, but you can't go to 2K per month with it. And the thing is, and this is where your brain is gonna start going like, oh, Sam, I don't like this, and you're gonna fucking click off and go, okay, keep you know, our agreement that you're gonna fucking say and watch this, okay, please honor that, be an honorable man, honor that agreement we made, all right? This is not the way to win the race, okay? When you're in a car, in a race, like imagine a fucking F1 race or a rally race or some shit like that, and when you're racing in a car, or even, you know, on a bike race, bicycle race, the best way to win the race isn't to start in gear 5. I mean, you probably already know it's to start in gear 1, and then you're going to start thinking, okay, what could gear 1 be? Okay, and I'm going to tell you in a second, all right? But of course, starting in gear 5, all right, it is by no means the best way to start, all right? Because, like, for example, Hamza is in gear 5. Hamza's up here in gear 5, and because Hamza's in gear 5, it works really, really well for him because because Hamza's already got the momentum, he's already got the audience, he's already got the money to invest into an editor and all that shit, and he's already got the crazy experience. He's a fucking goat of self-improvement, bro. He's changed all our lives because he's so good at his niche, And so because he's already got, we'll say you're green and we'll say Hamza's red, because Hamza's already up here, he's already in gear 5, and so it's already working for him. But this is the interesting thing. You don't want to copy what they're doing. You want to copy what they did. When you see someone who fucking speeds past you in gear 5, okay, and you're like, oh, they're in gear 5. Gear 5 must be the way to go really fast. And then you try and start the car in gear 5. You've got to keep in mind, they're in a different situation to you. And so them being in gear 5 works because they're in a different situation to you, their situation being already moving fast. But you're not got any momentum already. And so you starting in gear 5, yes, you're copying what the successful person's doing, but you need to copy what they did. What you don't see is that successful person who's speeding along in gear 5, they actually started in gear 1. Okay, and this is fucking crazy. And I got so much, I'm getting excited about this, bro. I got so much proof to back this up. Same thing with fucking Hamza. I've got proof that Hamza started in gear 1. And it's not even like, oh, proof I'm trying. It's fucking on his YouTube channel. Okay, and I'm gonna show you this in a second. And so in a race, because life is a fucking race, you know this, bro. Okay. Where you're competing for the future wife, you're competing for the purpose and all of this and the money and whatnot. Okay, you're competing for this life with me, because think about it, not all of us can fucking be online entrepreneurs. The economy can't fucking support that. You are competing with me, you are competing with your brothers watching this video right now for this, and so life is a race. And in this race where we are competing, you are going to fucking lose if you start the car in gear 5 because you see Hamza starting the car in gear 5. Obviously, gear 5 being doing YouTube, a low ticket course, because think about it like YouTube, like I said, it's long-term scalable, like a low ticket course product. Again, it's super, super scalable, like gear 5, but at the same time, it's super low leverage because it's low ticket, meaning you need loads of sales, really big audience. It's automatic, meaning like, yes, it's automatic, so it's scalable, but because it's automatic, it's also low leverage because like you've got to try and fucking force your sales ability into a fucking, little page and a little video, and at the same time, it's like you've also got your delivery ability, your ability to get people results. You've also got to force that through a little video as well, where it's like you're not personalized to anyone, if you get what I mean. And you can probably start to think like gear 1 could be okay. Please hear me out. Keep our agreement. Do not click off this video for the next like 5-10 minutes for when I explain this analogy. And so you're probably, we've already established it. You need to start the car in gear 1, all right? Now, what gear 1 would be? Gear 1 would be obviously super high leverage, like super high torque in a car. Okay, so just in case you don't understand how leverage works and what leverage and how gears and shit work, because it's actually very, very simple, all right? This isn't confusing at all. You got the axle, the axis that like fucking goes through the middle here, so we'll just pretend that's that. Okay, and now it requires force to like rotate the wheel. Now if you rotate it from the outside here, okay, it's much, much easier. You got much more like leverage, okay, that's leverage. Compared to me rotating from here, there's like less leverage, okay, there's less leverage here, there's more leverage here. You understand that? But the thing is, if you got more leverage, okay, like let's say my hand's moving it, my hand's got to move all the way around here for each rotation, all right? It's got to do a much like bigger circle, all right? Whereas if I was to move it here in the middle, then I'd have less leverage, but it'd be easier to move fast, and that's how it is. Gear 1, okay, oh shit, I've got oil on my hand. Fuck, oh, it's grease even, but gear 1, okay, is basically like on the outside here, all right? Gear 1 is on the outside, you've got tons of leverage, but it's like, you got to do loads of distance, if that makes sense. So like, you can't move fast because you've got to do all this distance, all right? Whereas gear 5 is like in the middle where you got way less leverage, but you got to move less distance, and so you can go at higher speeds. Hopefully you can understand that explanation. And so like I said, like gear 1, you need to be like moving the outside of the wheel, so it's much higher leverage, it's much easier to move, but at the same time, you can't go super fast. And so it's going to be something that's like super, super high leverage, so very easy to start, but at the same time, it's also gonna have to be unscalable, okay, and unautomated. Basically meaning if it's unscalable, not automated, then it's probably gonna have to be manual, okay? And so it's gonna be manual and higher leverage. But at the same time, like I said, it's gonna be, not scalable. And so gear 1 is gonna be something that can get you to 2K per month, but not get you to 200K a month. So, big reveal time. You might already have some ideas of it, but you probably, it might be actually pretty accurate, because I've had some guys on calls guess what gear 1 is before, all right? So, Gear 1, I'm about to tell you what it is, alright? Gear 1, again, another disclaimer before I say this, because this is the fucking crux of it. This is where you're about to click off as soon as I tell you what it is, and you're not gonna like it. Okay, it is not simple, it is not easy, it's not some solution you never heard of. You've heard of what Gear 1 is before, like what the physical actions actually are, okay? And you aren't gonna like it. And the reason you're not gonna like it is because you've got beliefs about this already built into your mind. You know, like beliefs about how this works from, you know, what Hamza's told you, or maybe even your own past experience doing this. You might have done Gear 1 before, bro. You, as a strong, hungry, young man, please be intelligent here, because I know if you're watching this, you're more intelligent than the average person by fucking far, bro, okay? You as an intelligent young man who is going to achieve his goals, who's willing to do what it takes to achieve his goals, okay, please be intelligent enough, okay, so that you can hear me out and hear my points out and genuinely consider what I'm going to tell you instead of letting your past beliefs control you. Because here's the interesting thing, okay, I'm gonna sound like fucking big Charlie Morgan here with the whiteboard and talking about beliefs here, okay, but your beliefs, okay, basically cause your reality. You probably already know this. Like, when you have a belief about something, it's like what you believe comes true, if that makes sense. Like, if you believe that school's really fun, you'll have loads of fun at school. If you believe that school's a fucking shithole, you're not going to enjoy school. Okay. If you believe being broke is chill, you're not going to put the work in to try and make money online. If you believe that your life right now and being broke and everything isn't very good, then you are going to put the work in to try and achieve the future. Same thing with what I'm going to tell you here, what Gear 1 is. You got beliefs that it doesn't work, or that if it does work, it's scammy and sleazy and requires tons of work to get results out, okay? And that it's not scalable, and you've got beliefs about this, okay? And so because of those beliefs, you're gonna think that you don't wanna do it and you're not gonna do it. Hear me out, don't let your past beliefs control you, all right? Basically, what I'm saying is your beliefs right now are the reason you're still here, okay? And my beliefs are the reason I'm where I'm at, okay? And so if you want to change your reality, you need to change your beliefs. And this is what I'm saying. I'm sounding so much like fucking big Charlie Morgan. I'm sounding like a fucking Charlie Morgan cocksucker, like an Imperium Academy. But anyway, get back to my point. If you are an intelligent young man and you're willing to do what it takes to succeed, you should be willing to essentially change your beliefs. This requires you to change your beliefs. It's going to be hard, uncomfortable, it's going to be scary, it's going to be doubt. You're basically getting rid of like the base of what your mind is based upon in that way, okay? It's going to be fucking scary. Hear me out, okay? Please, keep our agreement and just hear me out. And it's not just like hearing the words I'm saying and then fucking clicking off. Genuinely, please consider this, because I want to help you, but I cannot help you if you cannot listen to me. Okay, I think we got that sorted now. Okay, I've got what Gear 1 is behind this little piece of paper. You're ready for me to do the big reveal, what you've been watching this whole time for. So, and you are not going to like this, but again, hear me out, please, okay? It is basically outreach, okay, to a sales call, to high-ticket coaching. That is what Gear 1 is. And your brain's going, oh, Sam, that's too much work. Sam, I can't charge high prices. Sam, I'm not good at sales. Okay, again, they're your beliefs. The beliefs which have caused you to stay where you are now. The reason you are still watching this video is because of your beliefs, all right? Those beliefs are the reason you are still stuck where you are and you haven't succeeded yet. Those are those beliefs telling you and giving you these fucking limiting belief objection things in your mind. Please, be that intelligent young man that you said you are, okay? And please hear me out. You're probably now saying, it's too much work, or that you're willing to do the work now, but then, when you're rich and you're living in Bali, whatever the fuck, you don't want to have to be doing fucking calls all the time. That's completely fair enough. Like I said, okay, the same outcome is basically achieving this fucking big blow up. This is not the long-term solution. This is the Gear 1, this is the Gear 5. There is a way to shift up gears, which I'm going to explain to you, and that's like the last part of the analogy, okay, which you need to hear me out for everything to make sense. Do not click off because you're like, I don't want to be rich doing sales calls, all right? If you don't want to be doing sales calls in the future, that is completely fine, okay? And actually, you shouldn't be doing sales calls when you're making like 10K per month, or more than that even, okay? And basically, we have a solution, and I'm going to explain to you how you can do that to shift up the gears and essentially get this big YouTube blow up on YouTube, but you get the big blow up on YouTube much sooner by doing this first, because this is Gear 1. You might now be thinking that, oh, Sam, but I can't charge, high prices. Oh, my niche can't afford I'm selling to young men. I can't charge high prices for high ticket coaching. Or you might be thinking, oh, Sam, but that's not purposeful to charge people a lot of money. I don't want to be taking lots of people's money. I just want to really help people. Again, that is also another limiting belief, and you can hear me out with this. People will pay high prices if you can genuinely change their life. Young men have money. Okay, I think the age of my average client is fucking like 18 or some shit like that, bro, okay? And I'm not gonna tell you what my prices are, because that removes all the fucking mystery for why you might book a call with me and shit. Okay, but I charge, we'll just say it's like multiple four figures, okay? Multiple four-figure investment, and there's payment plan options, so don't get scared away. But anyway, I charge a lot of money. I charge very much high ticket, much higher ticket than you should basically start off charging. And my average fucking client is like 18 years old, bro. Okay, people can get money if you can change their life. And then you might be thinking, oh, Sam, but it's not purposeful. I don't want to take people's money. This is a really fucking interesting thing, bro. This will fucking blow your mind, okay? I've made a whole nother video about this. But basically, if you want to change the world, okay, and you want to prioritize your own like purposeful desires over your selfish desires, which is very respectable to do so. I really respect you for doing that, okay, man. I really genuinely do, because everyone else is making money online. You know, they're all about, you know, make money online, go to Dubai and everything. You're not like that. You want to be purposeful. And so you're like, oh, okay, I'll charge lower prices because then, you know, I don't want to take people's money. This is the interesting thing. You will have a much, much bigger impact on the world long term by basically making your sales and the delivery, like the transaction, being like 50-50 equal between you and the client. Basically meaning you need to charge a fair price, because if you charge way too low prices, what happens is you make less money, okay? And by you making less money, you got less money to reinvest in the business, and then because of that, you don't influence the world in the way you could, all right? Because then you don't have, you know, money is power in a way. Imagine Bill Gates, for example, that guy had the purpose of, you know, making the household computer available to normal people, okay? And so you might think, okay, well, for him to make the computer available to normal people, he needs to lower his prices. Wrong. By him charging a fair price, like a 50-50 equal transaction price, okay, he made more money, he made more profit. And guess what he does with that profit? He then reinvests that profit into research and development, basically makes computers much more economical and much cheaper. And then, in a weird way, by charging higher prices, he's made the prices lower. You know, so it's kind of crazy like that. That's the same thing with you. Like, if you don't charge high prices, you stay not making money like you are right now. You stay stuck in school with no money and no fucking experience in your niche and everything. You then don't help people. But if you charge high prices now, and we're going to get to this. This is the whole thing, is shifting up the gears. You charge high prices now, you make more money now, okay, then you got much more money to reinvest into your editor and all that shit, and then you help more people long term. That's just simply how it works. The whole shifting up gears thing, it goes way deeper than just that money, but that's just a little snippet of it there. And you might be thinking now, this is a big one a lot of people have that you probably have as well, or maybe you don't. But sales calls, you're probably like, well, Sam, I mean, the whole work thing, like, it's too much work. We've got over that, hopefully. You might be like, well, Sam, I'm not good at sales. That is the point. The reason you're not good at sales is because you haven't done any sales before. The only way to get good at sales is by doing it. It's like the fucking fat guy. There's a fucking fat guy in the gym analogy is perfect, and it's used so much. But imagine a fat guy in the gym where it's like, oh, but yeah, whatever your name is, oh, but Andy, oh, but, you know, whatever the fuck your name is, Oliver. Oh, Oliver, you know, I'm fat. I'm not good at the gym. I've never been in the gym before. I'm not good at the gym. I can't go to the gym. He's just retarded, bro. Like, yes, that's the point. That's why you're going to the gym. Same thing with sales calls. The reason you're doing sales calls is because you're not good at sales. And this is the interesting thing. And this is the whole thing of shifting up the gears again. Sales calls gives you a ton of experience, which then helps the fucking, you know, blow up be much sooner. But anyway, we're going to get to shifting up the gears in a second. Okay. The other thing is, like, and this is, you know, you're kind of contradicting yourself. You say you don't want to do sales calls because you're not good at sales. Well, you want to do YouTube despite not being good at YouTube. So you can see that's kind of irrational. So right now, you just like get introspective of your mind a little bit, okay? Your logic brain, like, because you got the logic brain and the emotion brain. You know, your logic brain is like, okay, this makes sense. Sam has made a good point. But then your emotion brain, the emotion brain, which is based upon those beliefs, the beliefs which cause you to stay stuck where you are, okay? That emotion brain isn't liking this because those beliefs are getting eroded away, and the emotion brain ain't fucking liking this shit. Just realize this in your brain right now, okay? The logic is saying, yes, this makes sense, and the emotion is like, no, this doesn't feel good, you know? Just get into it, that's interesting. That's really fucking interesting, bro. That's the reason you're still stuck right where you are right now. Because you've always listened to those emotions before. Those emotions which is like, oh no, it doesn't feel good, you know? Oh, it doesn't like feel, just realize that. Like, the logic is like, shit, this makes sense, okay? But then, and you might have some logical objections. I'm gonna clear all of them up in a few minutes when we fucking explain how to shift up the gears, okay? But just realize now, like, the logic from what I've explained so far, it adds up. There's no holes in it, okay? You might think you got a hole in it. It's probably just the emotion convincing you it's logic, okay? But just realize that, okay? Because I know there's no holes in this because I've explained it hundreds of times, bro, okay? You cannot convince me you found a hole in this because there is no holes, okay? I've gone through all and fixed all the holes in this. There's no holes in this. This logical argument is fully, it's not even a big logical argument, so you cannot break this down. This logical argument makes full sense, okay? You cannot break this down whatsoever. And I've also got data to back this up, which I'll show you in a second, all right? Which is kind of crazy. And when I say data, it's more so proof than numbers and data, but you'll see what I mean when I explain it. But just realize that in your brain at the moment, it's like the emotion is like trying to give you logical objections and pretend, the emotion trying to pretend it's logic to try and convince you not to do this. And then also you might feel a little bit of anxiety, maybe you feel a little bit of doubt, maybe you feel like, oh shit, but the other thing you might be saying is, well, oh, I've already spent so long doing YouTube, I don't want to like switch things up. Again, that's a fucking like emotion in your mind trying to convince you it's logic that, oh, I've already been going for so long, I might be close to blowing up. But the thing is, this blow up doesn't come after 3 years. This blow up comes like whenever the fuck, bro. Okay, it's not like it always comes at a certain time frame. It can come whenever. And if you've already been doing it for years and it still hasn't come, well, it's like, how long are you gonna sit out there just hoping it comes back? It's kind of like when a mother, imagine like a mother and her child goes missing. Okay, how long does she keep on looking for her child until she accepts the child's dead? Like, yes, okay, that's kind of crazy. But like, yes, you want to go out looking for the child at the start. Like, yes, you want to try YouTube at the start, but you're not going to fucking keep trying to look for the child after 6 months or a year or 2 years. I want to say, like, you're not going to keep looking for the child. Yes, you're going to still like keep searching on the internet and all that shit. But what I'm saying is, you're not going to be going out there searching for 18 hours a day for your child in the local woods 2 years after the child goes missing. That's kind of irrational to do so. Same thing with your YouTube. You're not going to keep searching for the blow up after doing YouTube for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and it hasn't worked yet. It works for some people, it doesn't work for other people. Like, some people blow up, some others don't. And like, yes, if you keep going, you'll eventually blow up. But just think, like, the logic of what you're doing, it hasn't added up. So don't continue being like, oh, like, I'm just going to stick to it. I've already stuck to it for so long. Like, that's why I can't do what you're saying, Sam. Like, no, bro. Just listen to that's just a fucking emotion in your brain, all right? And I've actually got something here which I'm going to tell you now, okay? And what I'm going to tell you, this will hopefully convince the emotional side of you as well. Because what I'm going to tell you, this is some like maths and data and shit, all right? This will really make you feel good about this. So like, that's the logic, okay, explained. I'm now going to fucking, convince your emotional side of your brain, okay? And this is just some like data about how this sort of like funnel, or yeah, kind of funnel, the flow works. So, 2K per month is equal to 2 sales for $1,000. We've already established that you can charge $1,000, okay? 2 sales is equal to 15 sales calls. I believe that is like a 15% close rate for 2 sales equals 15 sales calls. That's like, yeah, 1 in 7. So 15 sales calls you need to take, all right? 15 sales calls, all right, let's not try and rub out the board. 15 sales calls is equal to 750 outreach DMs sent, all right? And that's 750, you might be like, oh shit, that's tons. That's over a month, bro. 750 DMs sent over a month is 25 DMs a day. A DM sent takes like 30 seconds to send, so that's like 12 minutes of doing DMs, And so your daily workload is 25 DMs and then plus 30 minutes average of sales calls. If you've got 15 sales calls a month, a sales call is on average an hour long. And then by that measure, you'll have 30 minutes average of sales calls a day. So this could like be, you could just say this is 30 minutes, this is 30 minutes. You can make 2K per month in 1 hour a day. Very realistically. I do it. I've got clients who do it and everything. I make more than that, but that's because, I'm pushing to go further and everything, and that's because I'm shifting up the gears. But anyway, it's like if I wanted to go, I was chilled making like 2K, 5K a month, I could easily go down to just 1 hour work a day, if I really, really wanted to. But I'm not doing that, obviously, because I'm a young man achieving my goals, and so I'm striving to do more. And the crazy thing about this is, like I said, it's very high leverage. It's very high leverage. It's super like, how do you say it? It's like super linear in a way. And so if you want to make more money, you just do basically, because it's so linear, if you want to make more, you just put more input in. And the crazy thing here is, bro, okay, let me just move all this so I kind of like explain it a little bit better, all right? The crazy thing is, like, you probably have a little bit of a problem, not a huge problem, but a little bit of a problem where you feel like, okay, you're not really putting as much work in or effort as you could. And it's like, yes, you want to put more work in, and yes, you want to put more effort in so that you can, get better results and achieve your goals sooner. But then you also know, like, doing YouTube, it's like it's going to take so long. And so because it takes so long, the results, this is the important part, the results are disconnected from the actions. Because the results are disconnected from the actions, you don't work as hard as you potentially could be. And because you're not locked in as hard as you are locked in, but it's like you're not doing tons of work a day. Like, I work, 12, 14 hours a day, and I enjoy my work, and it's nice and grind, it's like when you're training really hard in the gym. And so that's nice, but you don't really have that. You only work a little bit and then go to school or go to your job and go to the gym and shit, and maybe you train harder than you work on your business, despite your business goals being bigger than your gym goals. And that's just because the results are so disconnected from the actions because it takes so long. And so I often find that basically with you and guys like you, it's like the reason you're not locking in, because you're a fucking young, hungry man, bro. Like, you're the fucking epitome. You're the peak of like fucking male ability, bro. why the fuck would you have a problem where you can't do the hard work? Like, that's what you're fucking biologically made for, to do the fucking hard work. Why can't you do the hard work? Well, it's not because you can't do the hard work. It's just because you don't have a reason to do the hard work. You know, because we basically act, you know, our biological fucking brains act from impulse and all this shit. And like, yeah, you can be logical and whatnot, but generally we always act upon our beliefs and, you know, the pains and shit we have. And so you basically don't have enough, I mean, you don't have enough pain in your current life, like your current situation, but that's a whole other thing. But the other thing is, like, you don't see that reality where you're like fucking living all this. You don't see that as super like close and super real. And so there's not really much reason for you to put the work in, because our fucking like biological fucking subconscious can't see further ahead than like fucking, you know, a few days maybe. So it can't see in 3 years time. And so you trying to force yourself to do the work, you're basically trying to like, you're taking your logical brain and trying to force your logical brain to convince your emotional brain to do the work, when your emotional brain actually holds all the power of controlling you, because that's like your beliefs and everything. Do you get what I'm saying? And so, because the results are so disconnected from the actions, you're basically winning, like you're fucking fighting a losing battle, bro, where it's like you're trying to like delay gratification for like fucking 3 years time, which if you've never done that before is ridiculously hard to do so. And so, coming back to my point, the reason why you're probably not locked in as hard as you could be is not because you're a retard or because, you know, any other shit's wrong with you. It's just because the results are disconnected from the actions, you know, and it's like, you don't have your emotional brain behind you. Whereas the reason I can work for 14 hours a day and enjoy it is because I've got my emotional brain and my beliefs and everything backing me up. And so, how do we basically get your emotional brain to back you up so you can do the work? Okay, at the same time also, get those like linear gear 1 results. Now this here's the YouTube graph, this red thing here, this is what you see here. Now, this graph here, we're still going to do this. This big blow up, you know, the gear 5 blow up, we're still going to do the gear 5 blow up. Okay, you can only do a gear 5 blow up once you get past 2K per month. And so what we are going to do, and this is shifting up the gears here, bro. I'm so fucking excited about this, man. Okay, because this will change your life. This is how my clients get such crazy results. This is how I've got such crazy results. This is like the fucking secret sauce here. It's basically, we gear 1 ourselves to 2K per month, okay? But obviously the thing is, gear 1, you know, kind of like, if I can draw that a bit better, gear 1 will eventually like taper out. Like you can't continue doing gear 1 forever because you've got limited time and everything. And so we do gear 1 like that, and then gear 1 sort of flatlines out at like 2K per month or whatever, all right? And that year isn't accurate because you could do this within the next week or so we'll get rid of that. But obviously I can't draw it all super compressed. And so you get 2K per month, okay, in gear 1. So this here is gear 1. There's gear 1, but then gear 1 kind of like tapers out a good bit, okay. Gear 1 tapers out a solid bit because you're limited on time. You know, you can't fucking do sales calls all day and everything. You've got to live your own life and everything. So Gear 1 tapers out. You get stuck at 2K per month. This taper out is probably the reason you haven't done Gear 1 yet. Gear 1 being the outreach sales calls and high ticket coaching. The reason you haven't done this yet is because you know that you can probably get to 2K per month, but then that shit tapers out and that you'll get stuck there and you'll be stuck fucking working like an online job basically doing calls. So this isn't scalable, but the thing is, when you hit this level, okay, and this is, you can probably start to like see ahead of what I'm going to say about scaling up the gears, shifting up the gears, is when you get to this level, you can now afford your little editor there, you can afford the thumbnail designer, you can afford to travel, you can have full-time freedom, you can meet up with the boys, you got full-time freedom, like I said, you can eat the best diet and so you work better, you know, you can maybe see your deeper purpose a bit more, like traveling and everything, and so you can reinvest into your business. You've also got more proof as well, because by doing this is the interesting thing, okay, this is the whole other thing about shifting up the gears. By you doing sales calls and high-ticket coaching, you get way more experience in your niche. So remember what I said, it's like you got your inherent progress, and this is the fucking looming the loom, bro. What I was saying before is coming back now. You've got your inherent credibility, okay, your inherent credibility, which is, you know, your physique or your photos of you with girls and shit like that if you're doing social skills, or your fucking face if you're a looks maxer. Okay, you've got that inherent credibility. You don't have the proof right now. By doing high-ticket coaching and sales calls, or specifically doing high-ticket coaching, what high-ticket coaching gives you, okay, high-ticket coaching gives you the proof. Okay, that's pointing to the proof there. All right, and the sales calls, basically, here, these give you experience, pretty much. And the outreach also gives you a bit of experience too. The outreach just helps you become a fucking better man, because outreach is painful and it's hard, okay? Because, you know, you're scared of being judged. But anyway, so the sales calls gives you experience as in talking to your niche, getting over their objections. The same way, like, I know how your brain works. I'm basically like, you know, when you get a thought, I pick up on that thought despite you watching this video in the future, because I just know that you're going to get that thought because I really understand my niche. I've been able to really understand my niche by doing tons of sales calls, because in a sales call, you do something called discovery, where you basically ask them a load of questions, basically interview them to get a really good understanding of them. And by you doing the discovery, you get tons of experience in your niche, and then you also get experience being able to solve their limiting beliefs and their objections. You get tons of experience, and that shows in your videos, and you can make much better videos. High ticket coaching gives you experience delivering to your niche, and so you're better at getting people results. And also, it gives you clear proof, because it gives you the fucking, it gives you the testimonials and whatnot. If I can just show you this, it gives you the testimonials and everything. You only get this by doing the high ticket coaching. Like, yes, you can eventually do this when you get a course, but the thing is, it's much easier, significantly easier, to get people results through high ticket coaching, because you think about it, okay, like, YouTube is like a Gear 5 traffic source, and Outreach is like a Gear 1 traffic source. You understand that? Low ticket courses are like a Gear 5 product, because a Gear 5 product is super scalable. You can deliver to infinite people, okay, with a low ticket course. If someone buys your course, you don't need to put any more time into it. It's already made, okay? But the thing with a low ticket course is it's much more Gear 5, meaning it's much more like lower leverage. It's much harder to get people results through a course than it is through coaching them one-on-one. And that's because for a course, to get people results through a course, not only do you need way more people going through that course, okay, to get solid results out of it, because the success rates are way, way lower through a course than through coaching. But the other thing is, you also need way more experience. Again, the experience thing, you need experience to be able to make a good course, because you need to understand your niche, and the only way you understand your niche really solidly isn't by thinking about your niche and making YouTube videos, which you've already established. The way to get better at your niche and get more experience is by going on sales calls with your niche and speaking with your niche and coaching your niche. And so pretty much to be able to make a course, you first need to do high ticket coaching. The thing is, like I said, we're eventually going to be able to sell a course. We're eventually going to sell a course, and I'll explain how this works soon. We're eventually going to do YouTube, but first we need to do this, because you need to get the experience first, you need to get the proof first, and you need to get the money first, okay? And you get the money by obviously doing Gear 1. Now, this is a really fucking crazy thing, and this is what's going to fucking blow your mind, boy, okay? So then when you hit the plateau in Gear 1, okay, by this point, this is the sort of plateau there. By this point, like I said, you've got the experience, you've got the proof, you've got the money. Okay, at this point, you can drop out, you can move to Bali, you can live with the boys and everything, you can live a fucking sick life. And so at this point, it's like, you've got the time. Like I said, you've got the time freedom, you're no longer needy. You're eating the best diet, you got all of this stuff, and that's fucking sick, bro, okay? And like, genuinely, this is a side point. You can, and I'm gonna tell you after this in this video how to actually do it. You can genuinely achieve this in the next week or 2 weeks, okay? But then like we established, this is not scalable. And so if you were to continue in Gear 1, you would basically, how you like max out a gear in a car and then you need to shift? You'd be maxing out Gear 1, and you basically continue on like that, okay? And so if you were to continue in Gear 1 would kind of be like that, That's kind of how it would be, all right? But obviously, you don't do that in a car. In a car, you need to shift up the gears, okay? And this is gonna blow your fucking mind, bro, all right? Like I said, you get the experience, proof, you got the time, you got the money, all right? You got that. Guess what happens? So you're doing one-on-one coaching, this is gonna fucking blow your mind. You do one-on-one coaching, okay, let's say you got 5, 10 clients, and after delivering to 10 clients and going on loads of coaching calls with them, you kind of realize that you're explaining the exact same thing to each client on each call. You're giving them the same workout routines, or the same like fucking looks maxing protocol, or the same action steps, and you're having to counter the same limiting beliefs they all have, and you see these patterns, your pattern recognition of seeing that everyone has the same limiting beliefs or same problems or needs the same solution. That's experience for your niche. That's experience like literally tangible there. It's seeing the patterns within your niche, okay? And so you see these patterns and you realize that they all need to hear the same thing. They all need to hear the same explanation that takes 3 minutes, 5 minutes to counter a limiting belief. They all need to do the same action steps. And so guess what? As you scale up, as you're ready to shift up the gears, instead of you explaining the exact same thing word for word to everybody individually, you instead just record a video and send it to all your clients instead of explaining it one-on-one. Guess what? That is a course. That's the beginning. That's the genesis of a course there, okay? That's how a course is inherently formed in a way. It's you taking the advice that they need to hear and basically scaling it up and packaging it in a way. You can imagine it's like the high ticket coaching, the sales calls, is like the research and development of a product. When someone has an idea for a product, kind of like you have an idea for a course right now, they don't just go and make the course or make the product and make 1 million of them. And they don't just go and make 1 million of them and then sell them to everyone without testing it. They test it first. They do trial and error. They do research and development first. The high ticket coaching is basically like the research and development, okay? And like you get a bit of money from it in the short term, like you get the investments coming in a way, and you get like the sort of like research and development done, and then you get the experience. And guess what? When you get the experience, you can then make a course and scale it up because you realize you're saying the exact same thing to everybody individually. Okay. Then the sales calls. Now there's kind of two routes you can go with this. The first route is just continuing doing sales calls and just hiring a closer, which is kind of what I'd recommend. Okay. But let's say you want to, fully complete this. Like you fully want to do the sales page and a low ticket course. The low ticket course is like the Gear 5 version of high ticket coaching, okay? Now, the Gear 5 version of a sales call is a sales page. And that's because by going on sales calls, you realize that everybody has similar objections. Everybody needs to hear the same pitch to get them to convert. Everybody needs to hear the same line or shit like that. You see the patterns, that's experience. And so by you seeing those patterns, instead of explaining it to everybody one-on-one on a sales call, well, you just make a video, a sales video, a VSL, a video sales letter, okay, and then you also make a little sales page, and then instead of like going on a call to collect the payment, you just have a little button there where they can buy it. You see what I mean? Sales calls and sales pages and coaching and courses, they aren't like different abstract separate things. They exist on a spectrum, okay? And so you can see here on the delivery spectrum, okay, the Gear 1 delivery is coaching, okay, then by doing coaching, okay, let's say you got loads of different separate coaching calls with loads of different clients. Well, guess what? You can just like book them all at similar times in the day. So you like batch the calls together. You know how you like batch your YouTube videos and you record them all at once? You do all the calls like all in a row, so it's easier. And then you realize, oh shit, why didn't I just get everybody on one big call together? You're doing group coaching there, okay? And then as you scale up from, group coaching and everything, you realize you're saying the exact same thing to everybody individually. Well, then you can make a course. And like, this isn't like, you don't do like one of either. Like you can do both. Like for example, like my program and everything is like, honestly, I've got aspects of all three, but it's like mostly like around here, like mix of group coaching and courses, because I've sort of like scaled up. But the thing is, you can only make a good course or do good group coaching once you've done solid good coaching, solid one-on-one coaching, because, it's like you need the experience that comes from it, And same with the sales here. I've just added these blue lines to like separate them because it was quite confusing without it. The blue lines don't mean anything. The blue lines are just separators, okay? And this experience, this is just like from something old we were doing earlier. So we'll get rid of that little experience there, all right? And so again, one sales is like sales calls. You get experience in doing sales calls. Then you can do like a VSL and call combo, which is kind of what I'm doing at the moment, where it's like you send someone to a VSL, but then the VSL CTAs them to book a call. You get that, okay? So it's kind of like a bit of a combo. You can only make a good VSL though when you've already done loads of sales calls and you've already got that experience. And then you can scale up into making a sales page and just not even doing the calls at all, okay? Because you've got more experience and you're able to do that. And the attraction meaning getting new people to see you, okay? Attraction being like new people coming and seeing you and hearing about, so it's kind of like people go attraction, then sales, then delivery. That's like the general funnel. If someone is attracted to you, they see you, then they go through the sales part, and then if they're a client, they'll go through the delivery part. That's kind of the flow of it. And so for the attraction, the Gear 1 is outreach. Very manual, very unscalable, but very high leverage. And then you get experience being able to speak to your niche and how to book calls with them, how to get them through the sales process, how to start them through the sales process. You get experience in that in outreach. And then you can move to networking, which networking is its whole other thing. But networking is kind of like scaled outreach where you go and network in other communities and that sort of stuff, where it's a more like scalable version of outreach in a way. But you don't need to understand how networking works yet. That's a whole other thing. I might make a video on that in the future. And then you've got Gear 5, which is YouTube. For YouTube to do well, as we've already established, you need time, you need money, you already need to be at 2K per month, which is why it's Gear 5, And so basically how all of this works is, instead of you staying in Gear 1, doing coaching, sales calls, and outreach, instead you get that experience and now you can do group coaching, a VSL and call funnel, and then maybe you can do networking, or maybe you can, honestly, outreach. This is kind of stupid, and this is what I said about getting a closer to do the sales calls. With, outreach sales calls and not really one-on-one coaching, but outreach sales calls and group coaching, all of these, like 1, 2, and 3, they're infinitely scalable. That's because outreach, you can just hire other people to do it for you. If you've got a proven system that works by you doing it, you can just hire $3 an hour Filipinos if you really want to, bro, or just get someone out, a setter. That's what a setter is, like someone who sets calls to do the outreach. Sales calls, you just hire closers, which is generally the best way to go instead of going to I'm at a VSL and call, but then I also have a closer that works for me and everything. And then eventually, if you go to a low ticket course, you can do a sales page. Like YouTube sales pages and courses work really well if you've got millions and millions and millions of people, like Hamza's level audience. Even so with Hamza though, it's like he probably would have done better off if he kept it on his school at $500 and then $100 a month. Because that's a bit more like more gear one, but that's the thing. Like gear 5 isn't inherently better. It's not like gear 5 is the goal. It's like gear 5 is a method. Do you understand that? It's like when you're driving in a race, you don't have the goal of getting into gear 5, you've got the goal of winning the race. Because there might be turns and shit, and you might have to go slower at points and whatnot. And the same with business, there's problems that come up and whatnot. And oftentimes, like, just sitting in gear 2 or 3 for a while, if it's a fucking bumpy road, it just gets you get there to the end destination faster, okay? Because the thing is, it's like, yes, you know, gear 5 is the most scalable, and so to achieve the biggest goal long term, gear 5 is going to be what works best, okay? But I mean, that's kind of contradictory though, because the biggest info businesses all operate from like outreach and sales calls and like group coaching. That's how all the biggest info businesses work. But like, if you really wanted to, like, gear 5 is technically in theory the most scalable version. And so if life was like infinitely long, it would make sense to do gear 5. But because life is short, if you prioritize the long term to an infinite degree, then you're never gonna win the race, if that makes sense. Like you're not running a 100K race, okay, where you're gonna have to walk for most of it. You might be running a 1K race, you know, or a 5K race, where you've got to go at a fast pace. Like, you prioritizing the long term in a race is kind of like walking, if that makes sense, all right? But if the race is only 5 kilometers, someone who's running at a 4 minute per kilometer pace, like fucking belting it, bro, for the 5K, they're gonna beat you in the race, despite you prioritizing the long term. The tortoise basically will only beat the hare in an infinitely long race or a super long race. The hare will always beat the tortoise in like a 100-meter race. Do you get what I'm saying? And life is like a 100-meter race. And so in a weird way, it's not like you prioritize the long term to an infinite degree. It's like you need to prioritize the long term to a certain degree. You need to prioritize the long term for like the next 20, 30, 40 years or however long you want to prioritize it for. It's not just, oh, I prioritize the long term. It's like, how much of a long term do you prioritize for? Is it 20, 30, 40, 50 years? You know, how long? You know, because most people prioritize the short term for like the next 2 minutes, which is instant gratification, you know? Whereas you need to prioritize the long term, but it's not about prioritizing the long term to an infinite degree, because if you do that, then you end up doing this, which is what you've been doing. And as we have established, if you continue doing this and prioritizing the long term to an infinite degree, you aren't going to succeed. And so in a weird way, you need to prioritize the long term, but only for like until you're like 70 years old or 80 years old or whatever, because life is a set game. Meaning basically the best way for you to make the most progress is to kind of like prioritize for the next 80 years. And the way to prioritize for the next 80 years is to start with this and shift up the gears. Do you understand what I'm saying there? Hopefully you do. And so basically how that looks like is you hit this plateau here in gear 1, and then you shift up the gears, okay? And then you do the fucking big blow up here, and then pretty much you shift up to gear 1, and then you have the big blow up. And then you have the big blow up. I mean, this time frame isn't really like active, so we'll get rid of the time frame now, because the time is like kind of arbitrary. But basically, instead of you spending like 3 years or 10 years or whatever to get this YouTube blow up here, all the way down here, you know, because the reason this blow up here is because you're above the 2K per month line, okay? And so instead of waiting all this time in gear 5 to then get up the 5K a month line in like 2, 3, 5 years, okay, and then you'll blow up. Instead, we just use gear 1 to get up to 2K per month now, and then because you're at 2K per month, you then have the YouTube blow up, and then this is where you can do what Hamza does, and you work like 5 hours a day, okay, and you still make, you know, almost 100K per month now. I think he's at like probably like 70K a month at the moment or something like that. That's just how it works, bro. That's just logic. Okay, hopefully you're convinced of this. This is like my entire fucking life's work for the past year, man. But the thing is, you can only like do this and get to this because you start in gear 1. And that's just like the natural progression of it. And this is, you know, I've got the final nail in the coffin here. I told you I have like proof for this. Proof regarding Hamza starting in gear 1, and I'm going to tell you this, and you're going to be like, oh fucking shit, because Hamza himself started with one-on-one coaching. I printed it out, bro. The files are here, man. These are, and then, by the way, no hate against Hamza. Hamza changed, I want to tell you this is genuine, like fucking genuine face-to-face. Hamza changed my life. Hamza probably changed your life. Hamza still helps me with self-improvement in his old videos to this day. I fucking love Hamza. I wouldn't be here without Hamza. I do not want to see as a little fucking Hamza hater, as a Hamza stealer. I do not want you to think of me as a Hamza hater or a fucking Hamza stealer who's just trying to get views. The reason I'm only calling out Hamza like a fucking hour into this video is because I don't want to fucking, you know, harm him in any way. You know, I'm only telling you this now once I've explained this. I could have very easily started this video basically being like, oh, fucking, Hamza's the whole issue, Hamza's ruining your life and shit like that, I don't want to do that to Hamza. He fucking changed my life. I've got a degree of honor, I think. And so, that's why I'm doing it this late into the video. But I just want this to be the final nail in the coffin, just in case you've got some blind loyalty to Hamza. Because this will basically, the final nail in the coffin. This here is Hamza's testimonials from doing coaching. You can scroll back on his channel for as of when I'm making this video, it's on 5 years ago. You can see here, Sean testimonial, Kurt testimonial, Michael testimonial. Hamza, I remember he said this to me on a call one time. I think he hit his first 1.8K per month with one-on-one coaching, all right? I remember he said that in one of his old coaching courses back in the OG Adonis school, which is ironic because this is crazy. That he made that coaching course with the goal of getting people to 2K per month, and I went through that during the new Adonis school when I was 14. I'm 17 now. That was 3 years ago, at the end of 2023, and that got me to 2K per month. Okay, that course he made about coaching, that got me to 2K per month when I was 14. And he said it's within the goal of getting you to that first 2K per month, so that you just have that 2K per month and you can change your life with that, and then you can scale up from there. Which is kind of crazy how he shifted away from coaching now. It's kind of sad what's going on with Hamza. But anyway, Hamza made his first 1.8K per month with one-on-one coaching, okay? And he gets into gear 1, and then he hires Sam, Sam Harborn is his old editor and everything. And then he gets loads of experience in his niche by doing the coaching, becomes the goat of self-improvement, makes a course, blows up on YouTube, then he's in gear 5, making 20K a month, then obviously starts Adonis school, gets to 220K a month or something like that, which is fucking awesome when he was, bro, I miss old Hamza. It's so sad to say, but I really do. I miss the OG Adonis school. I'm still in contact with a lot of guys who are in it, but anyway. This is what Hamza did, and that's what I was saying, you want to copy what they did, not what they're doing. The guy who speeds past you in gear 5, Hamza being the guy who speeds past you in gear 5, and he's like, come on, bro, it's gear 5 you need to be in. You need to be in gear 5 to make it work. That's what he's basically telling you, and he's like, pay me, and I've got nothing wrong with him selling, by the way, so I'm not against him selling. He's like, join ECC, join ECC, and I'll tell you all the specifics on how to shift into gear 5. Because look, I'm in gear 5 and it's working for me, all right? And you're basically copying what he's doing, not what he's doing, not what he did, if that makes sense. And it's for me, I'm not in gear 1. Okay, I now do group coaching and courses. I now do a VSL and call with a closer. I now do YouTube as well. I still do outreach because I'm scaling it up, but I do YouTube and everything as well. And it's I'm scaling up. The thing is, if you were to listen to me and you were to, I'm gonna go into my little CTA to my free community in a second at the end of the video. But if you were to basically listen to me for my specifics for what I was to tell you to do, I'm not gonna tell you to copy me and do YouTube and do a VSL and call and do group coaching and courses, because I know that if you were to try and copy me, you wouldn't have the experience to do that. You wouldn't have the money to hire an editor, and so it wouldn't work for you. I'm gonna teach you to do what I did, and that's why I get such fucking crazy results, I mean, bro, the logic of this adds up. If you still have limiting beliefs about this, that's completely fine, because like I said, it's your beliefs and your subconscious is sort of being eroded here, and so it's very much you're naturally going to feel inclined against this, especially because Hamza's changed your life, and so there's so much goodwill you have from you. I trust Hamza so much, and then this fucking little 17-year-old comes telling you that Hamza's lying and everything. Well, not lying. Hamza is not lying by any means. He just doesn't understand this. That's pretty much what it is, and that's why I said this analogy. Nothing special about me. This is the analogy that just changed my life pretty much. And so, there's nothing wrong with Hamza. Hamza just doesn't understand this. And if Hamza was able to see this video, and Hamza was able to understand this, and he was able to teach this, that would be fucking sick. Because imagine how many more people would get results if they were doing this. The fucking movement, Hamza's movement would be fucking set alight again, bro. That'd be fucking awesome, man. I know in ECC he started teaching he's got the $250 protocol to do free coaching first. And then, sell a $250 coaching to upgrade to the ECC $250 plan. I know he started that, which is respectable, because that's moving more towards, back to gear 1. Because the crazy thing is, and this is a whole other point, if you were to go, if there was a theoretical gear 0, it would be doing free coaching, and this is what I actually teach to do, to start in gear 0 in a way. There's not really any gears. The true gear 1 is doing free coaching at the start, because by doing free coaching, you basically get the experience of doing coaching before even getting any sales. And so doing gear 1 coaching, your experience there isn't then constrained by the sales calls and outreach. Instead, you do the outreach, okay? You do the outreach, and then you do the calls and the coaching calls and everything. And the sales part of it is basically asking for a testimonial. And so that's like the most gear one version. And that's what will basically get you to start doing in a way, to do some sort of niche research and whatnot. But anyway, yeah, you're probably not feeling great about this. Or maybe you are, maybe you're motivated, which in that case, that's fucking awesome, man. I really do respect you that you can, erode your beliefs down like that and shift so fast. That is really, really respectable. But you're probably still not feeling great about this. I'm not expecting you to go on Instagram and send a fucking 100 DMs today right now, bro. It's not even possible for you to do that. There's a setup period and everything, which is, there's so much technicality into how to do this, because then the other part of your brain might be like, well, Sam, how do I do the outreach? Where do I do it? Who do I send it to? What do I say on the sales calls? How do I make my offer and everything? You got all these how do I do this and these other limiting beliefs, but just, I'm going to explain how you can actually do it in a second, like the details and like the fucking clear protocol on what you actually need to do. But I just want you to imagine another last little thing, which I want you to imagine. Imagine you're old and, you're with your family and you're in a little fucking council house, some little cheap house the government's paid for you. And your little granddaughter's there. She's really, really beautiful. Your little granddaughter, and you love her. Okay. And your children are there too, your grown-up children, and you're like 80. And your granddaughter asks you, granddaddy, whatever she says, granddad, why do those people have lots of money and we don't? Why can those people eat all the food they want to and afford everything they want to and go on nice holidays and we can't? And you tell her. Or you'll probably give some excuse where it's like, oh, they just got lucky. That's probably what you'll say at that point, because your mind will be fucked at that point. But imagine deep down that the reason that you didn't succeed is because you weren't able to take on new beliefs and you weren't able to take on new theories of reality and new theories on how to succeed. And you were too bogged down in one. And then you realize all those years later that, you should have explored other options, okay? And I'm not saying this is the fucking dual seal god of fucking coaching businesses, bro. It's close to that, but what I'm saying is if you want to succeed, you need to open up your eyes to other methodologies. Oftentimes, it is good as a beginner to blindly follow someone. Like when you're a fucking fat guy getting in the gym, it often is good to not critically think about how to do the form, just listen to someone else. But there comes a point, okay, and you are by far at this point, where when you've been listening to someone and it hasn't been working, you need to change it, okay? This is that point, okay? Do not let your little granddaughter be living in poverty because of you. Another thing you might be thinking is, oh, I don't have enough time to do sales calls and this shit. Don't be fucking thinking to your little granddaughter, oh, the reason I'm not successful is because I didn't have enough time to do sales calls because of school and the gym. Bro, come on, man, you have enough time. Don't be a bitch. That's just the emotional side of your brain trying to convince you again. But yeah, hopefully by now you're somewhat convinced. Hopefully this is like the start of your journey now, bro, which is awesome. But of course, you still need to know, like I said, where to outreach, who to outreach to, how to send the messages, what to say on the sales calls, what sales scripts to use, how to pitch, how to objection handle, how to book a sales call from outreach to the sales call, how to, collect the payments. I mean, you probably already got that sorted through school and whatnot if you've got a school community. How to make your offer, how to do the delivery. There's so many questions, there's so much technicality to this. Like, this is still confusing, like any business is. Honestly, this is harder, not harder to get results, but it's more confusing work and there's more doubt and anxiety in gear 1 than there is in just doing YouTube in gear 5, And the thing is, like I said, my average client, I can fucking show you the proof again if you really fucking want to see it, bro. My average client makes their first, and these are guys I haven't even fucking worked with who have just sort of followed this model, okay? There's tons and tons of proof here. My average client makes their first $3,700 in the first 60 days, okay, which is just fucking ridiculous. So, comparing that to ECC, again, not shitting on Hamza, but comparing that to ECC, taking young broke guys and helping them make their first, almost 4K in the first 60 days and the first 2 months, that's kind of fucking mad, bro. And that's just because this works so well, and if we were to work together and basically, you were to join my coaching program, we would tell you literally everything you need to do in ridiculous detail. And so not only are you starting in gear 1, you also no longer have the issue of the clarity in what you need to do, because like I said, this is big and fucking confusing and everything. We tell you exactly, how to message people, what to message them, what to say on the sales calls, we just give you the best fucking scripts. We do your offer for you, we do your scripts for you. We, basically do as much as we can for you and everything we don't do for you. There's fucking ridiculous detailed training on which so many other people before you have gone through, and so it's fucking, trial and error iterated on to be able to work. And the thing is, I know it's just words and whatnot, and you're like, oh, Sam's doing the fucking sales pitch to me and everything, bro. But I've got a fucking crazy offer to back this up, our new offer. And that's if we were to work together and you don't hit your first 2K per month in the time that we work together, then not only do you not pay us a penny, okay, if you don't hit that 2K per month, you don't pay us a fucking penny, bro. Not only that, I will actually essentially pay you, okay, not essentially, just, I don't know why I said that, full on, I would just pay you back $1,000 extra to essentially basically say sorry for wasting your time in case this doesn't work, all right? That's how confident I am. This fucking works, bro. And it's no pressure at all if you're not. I know you've just watched this video of mine. It's like you don't really, you're not certain who I am. You're not, that's the probably biggest objection you have right now. Like, you don't know who I am. You've only seen one video of mine, and so it's like you don't know if I'm just like a fucking complete scammer or anything, which is completely understandable. Completely understandable, bro. And there's absolutely no pressure for you to book a call with that link below. But there is a link below, a Calendly link below, where you can book in a call with my team. And on that call, it's not going to be some fucking high pressure sales call. We will literally work out for you how we can implement you using Gear 1 into your business, and we'll work out how we can implement our high leverage linear Gear 1 traffic sources into your business. Okay. Oh, you probably didn't even feel you have a business, but you know what I mean. Or basically ask you a ton of questions, all right? Figure out where you're at, what we need to do for you, because like the Gear 1 is slightly different for everybody, and we'll tell you exactly what you need to be doing, okay, and give you clarity on that. And then if it makes sense for us to be able to work together, then we'll be able to make you an offer, and hopefully we'll be able to get you on board. And then if we are able to make you an offer, that will of course lead to your eventual fucking 2K per month, living this fucking sick life and blowing up, bro. But again, there's no fucking pressure whatsoever if you don't want to do that. We do actually have an entire course for completely free. My entire course for completely free. It's actually written on this paper. To basically get you to your first 1K within the next sort of month or so is the goal of that with self-improvement coaching. And there's a link for that in the description. It's called the $1,000 Protocol. That's my free school community. It's completely and utterly free. There's no fucking like weird fucking tiers, upsell or shit like that. And the only thing we sell is the fucking coaching program, which gets crazy results. And so if you want to go through some of my free stuff, there's that there. Or if you want to watch some of my other YouTube videos first, because I'm putting out a fuck ton of like great value on this channel now, which is, I'm really fucking loving making these videos. And these videos are ridiculously valuable, man. You can literally just like click, if you go down like below, if you just like click subscribe, not only would that help me, if this is open to you, man, that would really help me. Also, it'll basically cause YouTube to obviously show you more videos of mine. So then you see more videos of mine, you get warmed up to me a bit more, you understand me a bit more, you get even fucking crazier value. Like, I've got videos which are probably just as valuable or almost as valuable as this one in different sort of concepts and whatnot, which will really, really help you and really open up your mind, bro. So I'd really appreciate if you could click subscribe so you can see more videos of mine. And I mean, while you're down there, if you're subscribing, you might as well click like and fucking leave a comment on the video to help me out and give your thoughts on this. But yeah, have an amazing day, bro. I really do genuinely appreciate you watching this because it's really helped my YouTube and everything. So please have an amazing day. I really hope this can fucking change your life, man. And I fucking hope you find a $100 bill on the floor later as well, man. I really fucking love you, bro. I really appreciate you. But yeah, have an amazing day, bro. Bye-bye.